Hello, Happy New Year. Today I'm going to be working on getting this siding installed here. I've got the pins, the brads pulled out of the cork road bed. I'm going to be working on sanding that down and getting this siding installed. I'll be working sanding this down over here too. So that's the plan for the day, among other things, and I will be probably be assisted by my friend over here. Maybe not. She's had a tough morning. Say Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, well, I'm gonna sand this down using a 60 grit sandpaper and this little block of wood. I mean, I have an orbital sander I could use, but that just throws up a lot of dust, and with 60 grit sandpaper that doesn't take a lot of time anyway. So I want to start grading this thing about here and just sand this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark that up like that. What I'm going to do is take my block and just start sanding from this end and work my way up. And I can tell that I'm working along getting the grade in as these marks disappear. So kind of a little guideline. So that'll help me out. And Alright, okay, as you can see, got a nice gradual slope into the sub-road bed here. Hope you can see that okay. Goes down gradually until it smoothly goes, well, more or less smoothly, goes into as level with the sub-road bed. So you want to be a little bit gentler sanding down here. Don't use as much pressure when you're starting getting to the end, because depending upon how much glue you used down at this end here, sometimes the cork has a tendency to pull up off the plywood. So if you know where your end point is, it probably would pay to actually put a little bit more glue down there to make sure this part is secure, because once this thing's out, the cork has a tendency to pull up in chunks and not give you a smooth transition. I ran into that problem right there where I had a chunk come up. It's not too bad, so you can live with that, but just something to keep in mind when you're doing something like this. I'll go ahead and do the other one and be ready to start measuring the track, gluing this down, and getting things into place. So yeah, that'll work. Alright, well, I've got those row beds sanded down. I got my track in place here. I've got to do some prep work on this, because this I still need to clean up, and this still is fresh from having been weathered with the rail weathering solution. Got my model moved out of the way, so let me get at it. Alright, well, I've got this, got these two pieces all cleaned up. Now what I'm going to do is I have a couple of feeder wires back there I had to unsolder. I'm going to see if I can actually reuse them and solder them back to the bottom of these rail joiners here. I'll see if that'll work, or I don't know. Actually, I'm almost thinking I should just take them off and start over again. Which I might do that, just to be safe, just to make sure I get a good electrical contact, and then we're going to have to add another set of feeders right here, and then probably over there too as well. So let me go get my all my equipment together for doing the next phase, which I think what I'm going to do next is start to glue this segment in place, that turnout, and then part of this in place. Yeah, maybe I should just do that all at once. I'll think about it and I'll be getting back to you. Well, you know what? I decided to go ahead and get everything cut and basically put all this stuff down. The siding, the turnout, arrange it, get it in place, and glue it down in one fell swoop. I think being a little too cautious trying to do it incrementally, but let's just throw a little caution to the wind and be a little crazy, I think, as Bob Ross would say. So, all right. Okay, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but I've got this track centered more or less along the line I drew. You probably see, hopefully you can see that. You see the line I got drawn in there? So I've centered the track along it, or I am centering it, not quite yet. But then what I'll do next is, okay, put a little mark on the outside. Oops. What I'll do next, okay, so what I'll do next is when I've got my track centered, just put a little mark on the outside of the ties on either side. Because when I put the squeeze and caulk, cover this up, it's going to cover up the line a little bit. It's going to make it harder to see. So every few inches or so, I just mark on either side of the tie, because there's not going to be as much squeeze and caulk going over here, so I'll be able to better position the track and get it straighten it out. I mean, there'll still be some eyeballing and tweaking before I actually put weights down, but the squeeze and caulk gives you some time to work with before it starts setting. And let's take a look at that. Yeah, that looks a little bit of a kink in there, but not too bad. And when it comes to sidings, you don't have to, at least I don't think you need to worry about them as much as being completely straight, because it is a siding and it's gotten heavy use, and so it just adds a little touch of realism. If there's little kinks and bobbles in it, not too bad, but alright. I'm gonna go cut this little short piece that'll fit into there, and probably shorten this rail up a little bit, get it even. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'll just see if I can cut that small piece to fit, but I'll go ahead and do that and jockey the pieces around until I'm sure everything's going to fit together right. So I want to make sure everything's obviously going to fit together right, because I don't want to have to take something up again and re-glue it. So